I said to you before, I think, I don't know if you remember, that mime is the essence of life.
My name is Scott Wasson, and I'm a full-time children's pastor, and on the side I do professional mime. Being a children's pastor, I definitely use a lot of my mime technique to teach the kids. A lot of times, I'll just stand there and freeze and get their attention, or I interact with the kids. I'll step into a character or something, and it just hushes the crowd. But with mime, I find too that when people will not listen to the Word of God, it will give them a chance to see the Word of God come to life, and that's what I really enjoy doing.
You're going to be like searching out the world. You can be looking out in the crowd, but you're very just seeing dark evil. It's not a fun demon. It's very evil, and you're very down the entire time. Then you'll hear the music. There'll be time where you're going to end up over here, because this will be the first
learning. I believe that mime is probably one of the hardest art forms to learn, because you are trained to create a world within a 4x4 space. Unlike dance, you get the whole stage. And of course, mime you do, but you have to do the traditional box. But you have to create a world in that space just using your body. How do you do that? But you have to be very creative when it comes to younger, because it's a very disciplined art, and kids get really bored with it really quickly, because you just sit there and you have to do your hand. How do you do this? Over and over and over. And it's a lot, for a child, it's very hard. So you do a lot of play, okay, let's get the ball and let's play with the ball. And instead of breaking down the technique, you got to hand your hand in a C, and you got to watch out where, you put your thumbs and stuff like that. So it really depends on the age of the child and how you have to cater it to the age of who you're teaching. You have to really dive into your creative, mindset that God has given you to really, how do you translate, mime, creating a world out of nothing, to a 5-year-old or to a child. So how do you do that? So it's been very challenging in that way to break it down because I was taught in college, I wasn't taught in elementary school. So how do I, break that down to an elementary student?
Jehoshaphat studied the word of the Lord and did everything he said. But out of the east came an army one day after Jehoshaphat's gold. They were marching right straight to Jerusalem, and Jehoshaphat soon was told.
I would say the light bulb moments is when they step into a character that probably hits home. Like if they're doing a character that's full of anger, maybe they're dealing with anger, and it really translates to how are they going to walk through that as a character walks through it. They go from anger to peace, and seeing a child, okay, wow, I can go to God for that. Or, I'm a fearful child, but I can have courage in God. And seeing that transformation by them learning the character, it helps them along. We do a lot of Bible stories. For example, I'm teaching a group right now, and so we're doing the story Jehoshaphat. Daniel will be Daniel in the lion's den. We're doing the crucifixion. So it brings the stories that they read in the Bible to life. They don't only read and they don't listen and read it, they now get to see it. And they get to be right in the middle of it as well. By me learning about myself and what I walk through, even with kids, teaching the kids like, hey, what does it mean to trust God no matter what happens? What does that mean to a 7-year-old, a 5-year-old? How do I translate that? How do I show them, how God's changed my life to really reach out to them? And by studying, the biblical stories and what God says, it really helps me grow in my faith as well. And watching, seeing a child see God through their eyes, it's really humbling, and it's like, wow, it does something to you. And see My favorite thing is seeing a child go through my ministry, kindergarten through 6, and when they go off, and a lot of kids I've seen, they're still in ministry, and thinking I had a little small part to do in that. God used me to say, okay, let's change their life and give them a hope, and we definitely need hope in this broken world that we have. A lot of times as a minister, as their pastor, you know a lot more is going on in their life because you're told by their parents or grandparents or whoever they bring to church, and you know what they're going through, and to love on them and to see them through the hard times and to see them make it through, to say, okay, God used me to change a person's life. I think that's why I do what I do and why I keep doing what I do.
My name is Chloe Wasson, and I am a part of the street mime here at Crosspoint. My dad did mime all throughout college, and I started when I was in elementary school. I started taking mimistry classes with some of his friends that he did mime with in college. So I just kind of grew up doing it and learned through my dad and his friends. It's fun. It's another way to push me out of my shell. Mime isn't necessarily my favorite part of dance, but I really like doing it in learning new ways, because it's not something that I've always been able to pick up super easy, because it's not something everyone can do, and I like being able to learn new skills and find more ways to love it. Mime connects to ministry in ways of dance, obviously, but it's a way of expressing how you feel and about the story of Jesus without using words, because yes, you can tell people about Jesus, but sometimes it needs to be understood in other ways through motions and emotions that you put through your body, and how hand motions and facials, and it just gives it a deeper connection that you don't always get. To be able to properly show mimistry and to show what we're doing is you have to believe in what you're doing. And if you don't have any belief in what you're telling, then it's not going to come across in the right way. You can do it, but if you have no heart for it, then it's not going to show as strongly as it should.
Early on the roads early next morning, we marched on after the king. Joshua had chose some singers, and then told those things to sing. They praised the beauty of holy, His mercy endures forever and ever. Praise ye the Lord our God, His mercy will never.
It touches those who are close to us, and also there's been experiences where members of our church have brought friends and people to church for certain events that we've performed for, especially like on Easter or Christmas, and we've done certain events, and people can come to Jesus through these mimistries or through these pieces, whereas they'll come up to you and be like, oh, I've never seen such a thing, or this was a different way and it put it in a different perspective where I've been able to see it differently than you normally do. So it just gives you courage and see, oh, it does work effectively with other people. Learning mime, goodness, it's definitely helped put me out of my shell, and I like finding new ways to preach the gospel. Especially when I was a kid, I thought there was only one way, and that's like preaching, and because my dad is a pastor, so I would see it as the only way that you can reach people is by getting on a stage and speaking. But by doing mimistry, it shows that not the only way of reaching people is through words, but also through your actions and through dance and through art.
If we are on this earth to live and to die, we have in the frame of the life which is given to us to choose light over shadow, love over hate, to bring beauty, to bring a pacific struggle to men for the enlightenment of humanity.